Paso County Deputy Andrew Peery and the community standing behind them are grieving his death at the hands of a killer. Tonight we have perspective from the wife of El Paso County Deputy Micah Flick. Rachael Flick's husband was killed in 2018 as he and his team tried to arrest an auto theft suspect at an apartment complex in Colorado Springs. The suspect also was killed. I talked to her about the terrible call she got 4 years ago and the hope that's possible after such a terrible tragedy.
Maybe one of the hardest questions is, how do you start?
For the last 4 years, Rachael Flick has become a symbol of hope in the face of horrific tragedy. In 2018, her husband Micah was shot and killed on the job as an El Paso County deputy.
And then you get the call and everything is different now.
Her call came as she was on the phone with a friend, counseling her through a miscarriage.
I would say after the 6th or 7th call, I was like, friend, I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but I have to find out what's happening. And that first call was Micah's mom, that I needed to come to the hospital, that Micah had been shot.
Minutes later, the undersheriff pulled into her driveway.
He slid around the corner in his cruiser and just kind of tumbled out of his car, and his paint was etched all over his face. And he just said, Rachael, I'm so sorry. He didn't make it. We tried everything. I'm so sorry he didn't make it.
Micah literally used his body as a shield and put himself between his killer and his fellow officers.
At his funeral, she stood in front of the world talking about her husband's heroic death.
It came out of the place where I have a hope bigger than myself, where there is a bigger story than ours in caring for the people who are also impacted by it, in loving this nation in all of its mess, and then knowing that I'm going to see Micah again.
For a long time, she couldn't smile.
But I couldn't make my face do it. And I remember standing in front of the mirror and making a smile and memorizing the muscles in my face, memorizing how my eyes crinkled, memorizing. And when people would smile at me, I would remember how to smile, because smiling felt so insincere.
A break from the pain didn't come until a year and a half later.
We were on a jet ski in Table Rock Lake in Missouri, and the kids were saying, faster, faster, Mom. And so I would go as fast as I could and spin it around, and we would all flip off and tip over the jet ski. And it hit me that day like, I'm really laughing again.
She says for the Peery family, facing the why of his death may be one of the hardest parts.
The why has to be asked. It has to have room to be asked. You must have the freedom to fight for it, to wrestle with it, to scream at it. And at the end of the day, then you have to let it go. And you have to do that over and over and over again until you find the peace in your soul that allows you to let go your need to know why.
Letting go while holding on to hope that others before them are ready to help guide them to a place of peace.
Although I wish I had never become a part of this club, I do take comfort that I can offer that it's possible to survive, that there is life after death, that there is hope after loss.
And she brings so many people so much hope. Rachael Flick says she remembers her home just being standing room only in the days following her husband's death. And she says she hopes the Peery family will allow the community to carry them as they did the Flick family after his death, whether that was driving them everywhere they went or just making them meals, picking up dry cleaning, going to the store with her to pick out the funeral clothing that she wore. It was just so awful. But she says the best way for strangers to help is to donate to the fund created to help that family. Rob, everyone just wants to help.
Absolutely, because that's what they're doing. So many people are grasping. They're like, how can I help? What can I do? We're all mourning, but that is actually something they can do that will help her and other families like them directly.
So many of us ask, what do you need us to do? Don't ask that. Just donate to the fund. Make it easier for that family in some small way.
Right,
that you
great
can.
Perspective, and eulogy she delivered that day, and the symbol that she's been since then has just been amazing.
She's an amazing woman, and I'm glad that we were able to share her perspective.
Absolutely.